Hello there and welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with Ungainly Titan. We're here on the Serene Coast and I'm in the Rudy. Now the Rudy is a tier 6 premium. It's basically T-34-85 and it's pretty much identical as far as I can see to a standard T-34-85. There may be some differences in the engine power and the gun is slightly quicker aiming time at 2.2 seconds rather than 2.3 seconds. However, it's for all practical purposes, it's identical to a T-34-85 as far as I can tell. I can't see any difference in the gameplay as I experience it. The other thing about the Rudy is that it has a crew of 4 and a dog, and the dog is triggered with 6th sense. So when 6th sense goes off in this thing, the dog, Zarek or something like that it's pronounced, is the dog barks, which is actually terribly useful. Having an audio cue that 6th sense has gone off is actually a very, very useful feature in this game. Now, I'm just poking the ridgeline here to see what I see anybody, and I see a bunch of tanks down here. One of the things you notice in this game is that I'll continue on down to the ridgeline just there in front of me, because I think that this corridor down from kind of B1 down to F1 is the most important corridor on this side of the map. And if you don't defend it or don't stop enemies from attacking along it, or better yet, if you attack along it, you can really dominate this side of the map. However, my teammates keep poking the ridgeline behind me. As you can see, they're already setting up along the ridgeline. The Panther is hanging back. I'm not sure what the Panther is doing, but there's a heavy tank and a tank destroyer now peeking out over that ridgeline. And I'm going to spoil the game by saying that while I play actually a pretty decent game here, my team loses. And I think one of the reasons they lose is they spend too many of the tanks along here are actually poking that ridgeline and sticking their guns out over that ridgeline, and they're doing so while under observation from the enemy. And part of the reason they're under observation from the enemy is they haven't attacked down this side. I can't advance beyond my current location, because if I do, I'll be simply isolated. I'll be invisible to my friends. They won't be able to see a lot of the tanks that could potentially fire on me from further down. And they may not even, well, they'll probably be able to shoot quite a few of the tanks that I'd light up. But if anyone comes in to attack my position, they wouldn't be able to assist me in defending myself. So there's no point in actually doing it. And there are some tanks that are firing up towards me here that are outside my view range. As well as that, because I don't have the support and can't push forward, there's a Knight and a Cromwell keep popping up down there, and they're spotting the guys on the ridge behind me. Because if I can spot them, they can spot me. They probably can spot beyond my position, because a lot of them will have a better view range. So if you watch the part of the game that's elapsed already, you will notice that 3 out of our 5 losses have actually occurred on the ridge behind me. And there's just me and the Panther left. The other problem we have is that we now effectively have no forward scout. The other medium tank that went down the centre line just kept going, drove into the middle of the enemy and died, instead of sort of sticking in the low ground for as long as he could and try and keep enemies spotted, so those tank destroyers in the middle would have something to shoot at. There was a heavy tank in the town. Now that's probably the KV2. Now the trouble with him is that this is a really bad map for a KV2, especially when the heavy tanks won't attack. The end result is that we have been a tank down or so since pretty much the start of the game. Now if the Panther or somebody would come up to my position, or some of those tank destroyers in the centre would come over onto the ridge beside me, I could push forward and we'll push our vision down into the bottom half of the map, and we would have some targets and we could shoot them. With hindsight, I would say there was also a little tunnel vision myself. It's possible that if I went into the central area, I would have pushed vision further south more usefully than I would by remaining where I did. However, the Panther has kind of joined me, so I've decided to push down in order to push the vision down into the centre of the map. Now, just about now, I got a bad lag spike where I nearly lost control of the tank completely. Well, I did lose control of the tank. And while I was focusing on regaining my control of the tank, I never really realised that the enemy had made a push up the centre and had pretty much wiped out our tank destroyers. By the time I got control of my tank and was paying attention to the game again, really, the artillery it put up appeared, and that distracted me. But the fact of the matter was that the enemy tanks are actually pushing up the middle now, and I'm unaware of it, but they are proceeding up towards the town and towards our rear and our base. So I just peek over the ridgeline here to see if I can get some fresh spotting, and I pick up a few of the tanks that were at the back of the map and shooting at me from earlier on, and one of our heavies is pushed into the middle and he's picking up some of the guys heading back towards the towards our cap circle. But there's not much I can do about that at the moment. The heavy tank that was over on the eastern side has did an offensive on his own and ran into multiple enemy tanks, and instead of retiring back towards the tank destroyer, he just got himself killed trying to push forward. I'm on a good flanking position here, and I'm exposing several enemy tanks to view, but by and large there isn't enough of the team left at this point to take advantage of it. And I don't think I fully realised it when I was actually playing the game. I was still behaving as if there was a couple of tank destroyers behind that I could take advantage of the stuff that I'm doing. In particular, this run made by the Skoda, just as he passes me there, I decided to go after him because I thought the Panther was still alive behind me and that the Panther would take care of the Hammer. As it was, the Panther was already dead and the Hammer just followed me and killed me. However, at this point it's pretty much game over. We've only one surviving tank, and he is in the middle of the map and he's already pinned down by multiple hostile tanks around him. So by the time I realised this, yeah, it's pretty much game over. A lot of missed opportunities, I suppose, but one of the things, the lessons to pick up from it is that if you're being shot at doing something, you should try and stop doing it and try to do something different. Those tanks that were trying to fire over the ridgeline beside me there at the beginning of the game just kept doing it over and over again until they were destroyed. Whereas if they had moved, I don't know, down to my position or towards the centre, where they could get in a more hold down position and didn't have to expose as much of their tank before they fired, they might have done a bit better. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you again soon.